You know what, the other day I was thinking to myself, it has been ages since we have built some form of bunker. I personally absolutely love building bunkers. They're one of my favourite things to build in Minecraft, and it's convenient timing because clearly everything has gone slightly wrong. We're in a bit of a doomsday situation here, so I think doomsday bunker it is. And I want you to completely ignore the fact that I have a flint and steel in my hand right now. And the fact that the doomsday situation only seems to be at around about a 25 block radius. Okay, it was just an example. So, first things first, I want to create the little entrance into this thing. Now, normally it's some form of hidden entrance, but actually we're going to be doing something slightly different today, in that I want this to be just a well-sealed entrance. In fact, I'm actually wondering, I wonder if we would be able to add some form of automatic washing system, so it kind of cleans us off before we get dropped down into the base. That would be amazing. And this kind of works. I mean, it's super simple. We just take an observer output from the iron door, and that runs into a dispenser, and then when the door closes, the water gets removed, and then we can actually just drop down through. Yeah, I mean, that's a very elegant solution. So I think that's everything for the top section. Now let's start work on some of the redstone that's going to be going on inside. And as I just mentioned, the drop down system is something that I really want. I want the impression that we're kind of slowly being pulled down into this bunker here. So I'm thinking some form of slime block elevator. I mean, that seems like the smartest way to do this. Alright, how well does this work then? Pretty well. Doesn't go down that far, but that's okay. If I replace this and then update that then goes back up to the top. I mean, it does function. Now, where I'll be truly very impressed is if I've managed to actually hook it up properly with my little button system. So the water goes, and wow, that actually functions. Nice. Okay, right, let's build up this area so it's a little bit better looking. So I've worked out the desired floor level. Now I'm actually going to start taking out blocks, and we want to create a 15 by 15 area. So we're going from the center. That means that we need it to be 7 blocks out. So that's 2, 4, 5, 6, 7. And that's going to be in all directions around like this. So it's going to be quite a big space. And I've just recently worked out how to make use of the fill replace command, and it's incredibly satisfying, leaving the veins of things just behind. So now we can do one that Iskal will really quite like, which is diorite. Diorite gets taken out, and then we can do granite. This is the best thing ever. So, here we have the beginnings of our bunker. Now, the keen-eyed ones of you will notice that we have actually got ourselves a little spawner down at the bottom there, which I'm actually using as my immovable object to stop my flying machine, which I personally think is hilarious. But this thing right here is going to be what the entire base centers around. So we're going to create an XP farm kind of in the center here, because of course this is a doomsday bunker. We need to have everything available to us in one place. So we're going to have the XP farm, and then we're also going to have farms surrounding it like this, and they're all going to feed into one central storage system, and everything that we could possibly need is going to be up in this area here. I'm really excited for this. This is exactly my sort of build. Now, the first thing I want to do is place in the melon and pumpkin farms and also some sugarcane farms, but I did those in the previous redstone video, so let's quickly skip that. Now, I decided to opt for a very simple sugarcane farm, but I might have overlooked a slight thing. It might be a bit... Oh no! And in the end I came up with something like this. Incredibly simple, just consisting of a bunch of pistons, and then out the back here we have got ourselves a redstone clock, which just uses a long comparator pulse extender to give us a nice delay, and that is doing the whole thing. I mean, this is it. It is now fully functioning, and as you can see, sugarcane is being pushed into the middle. But there is one other farm that I want to work on in this kind of central area, and that is a kelp farm, so that we can power all of our furnaces using kelp, because let's face it, coal is boring. Now, I was trying to work out a way to make a design that would actually fit inside this space, and I think I've done a pretty decent job. So if the kelp grows, you can see that all of the pistons kick off, and then the kelp lands in the water stream, and it all ends up, well, currently on this side, but it's all actually going to go into the center. That's the plan. There's going to be a plunge hole where everything falls. Skeletons, all of the sugarcane, the melons, the pumpkins, everything is going to be going into one space. But if we take a look out the back, you can see that redstone-wise, super simple. All we've got is observers detecting the growth of the kelp, then powers this line of redstone, which then powers this line of pistons, and it instantly breaks the kelp as it grows. So now it's time to build it 3 more times. I gotta say there's something quite satisfying about watching these things whirl into the middle. Like, if you check it out, look. So we've got sugarcane coming in, we've got everything kind of flowing into the centre, and it all kind of does this whirlpool effect, which I really like. Now, the only slight issue is our melon and pumpkin farm won't work in the dark. So you're going to have to make a choice between having this thing activated and gathering up skeletons, or having this thing activated and gathering up melons and pumpkins. And we're going to do that by using just a big old ring of redstone lamps. And lights on. Much better. And it looks like we've already got ourselves a pumpkin down there. A couple of them. Anyway, next up on the project list is to create the actual item transportation system. And as you can see, it's working well. So we've got a little hole down at the bottom there where all of the items are falling through. And then they're being shot up through an item elevator out the back here, which is then taking them up into this hopper. But this is also going to be transporting all of the skeletons from our spawner as well. This one's going to be a big change. Yep, that has definitely been a big change. Okay, then we need to replace all of the dirt and everything. If you couldn't already tell, we're going for a super clean doomsday bunker here. Now, originally what I'd planned to do is have a storage system for all the different types of items. So you can see we had melons, pumpkins, kelp, sugarcane, we had bones, and all that sort of thing. But yeah, don't have a whole lot of room. So I think I'm going to rethink things a little bit, and instead I'm going to go for a shulker box sorting system. Or I should probably rephrase that, not necessarily a sorting system, but it's going to store all of the items that we get from all the farms in shulker boxes, and they're going to be stored in bulk in this chest right here. So I guess we can make that actually too wide because we want it to be a double chest so we have plenty of storage, and that also makes things symmetrical. And then we have a little elevator which is sending the items from down here up into this. Is tiny, and then that's going to flow across, and that's going to go into the shulker box that is going to be sat right here. Now when this thing fills up, we're then going to break it using this piston and store it in this chest. And that all seems to be working exactly as I described. So if we just take a look down here, there should be some items flowing into the sinkhole. Yep, there we go. So there is some kelp, flies in there, and then it shoots right the way up to the top really nice and quickly, ends up in the hopper, and then straight in here. And if this was to fill up, breakage, hopperage, redispensage, storage. Next up on my long list of things that you absolutely require in a doomsday bunker, it's of course a furnace smelter array. No one at the end of the world wants to be working with just one furnace, okay? It's horribly slow. I actually had to sit and wait for one furnace to smelt things the other day. I forgot how slow it is, okay? So we're doing away with that, and we're getting something decent. And this super simple and very space efficient design is what I've gone for. I mean, if we take a look at this, yeah, that's it. There's nothing much to it. It's just hopper minecarts, powered rails, and hoppers, and they're just going to go back and forth, evenly distributing out the items between the furnaces. At least that's what should happen. All I have to do is create a little redstone clock out the back here, which is going to make sure that these hopper minecarts right here get loaded with enough items to actually distribute them evenly between the hoppers, because obviously if it's just going back and forth quickly, then that's not going to do the job. I just realised that my fill command, I was wondering why there was no melons and pumpkins in the storage system. My fill command swapped out on my dirt blocks for quartz blocks. Anyway, back over at the super smelter now. I've just booted it into gear, and I gotta say, I'm super impressed. I mean, look at this. So all of them have got the same number of items on the inside. It's all evenly distributed perfectly. And I mean, it's smelting really quite quickly. It's much faster than a conventional just single furnace, that's for sure. Look at this. I mean, you could expand this to massive scales. You really could go crazy with it. Heading back down to the bottom now, I need to pay some attention to this area down here, because I've just kicked into gear the skeleton spawner, and this is just not cutting the mustard. So the skeletons kind of land here, and they don't really care about moving forwards into the water stream, so we're going to have to force them. So if we just gradually make our way down here, and then land down here, you can see that we get pushed across by the piston up into the super fast soul stand water stream, and we get sent up to the top. Now I wonder if we just switch off the lights real quick. Okay, straight away we got some skeletons spawning, so that's done the trick. Now we wait and see, do they actually come up through the system? I like the idea that we're using our item stream and also our skeleton stream all in one spot. But there we go, there's the first skeleton. Now, I'm not seeing any evidence of the next one, but he could be being quite resilient. Oh, there they are. Nice! So I think it's safe to say that works really quite well. And of course, to kill them, all we need is a sword a little bit like this, and that will deal with them quite quickly. So we have got ourselves a pretty sweet XP farm right there that is also dropping off, obviously, all of the drops into this lovely shulker box. So what else could we possibly have inside our bunker here? We've already got quite a lot. I guess some form of general item storage would probably be pretty handy at this point in time, because of course, you know, we've got the farm item storage, but to have an actual storage system would be cool. And I imagine that in this sort of tight space, you'd probably be using some form of shulker box storage system. And for some reason, I imagine it would probably look something like this. So we have kind of pistons revealing this storage system, and then we're going to have, we'll have stairs up there. In fact, that makes sense. That like that. We need to make sure that everything is looking perfect and pristine, so when we walk up to our chests, it'll be revealed like that. Lovely. So that's that job done then. All looking rather cool. Now the next thing that I thought I'd work on is actually the living quarters, because of course, you know, this is great, but I definitely wouldn't want to sleep here, and this just doesn't seem like a good place to be. So I've built up this little section off over here, and I think for the piston door to get us in, I really like the idea of it kind of pulling back like this and then sliding across to this side. I think that would look absolutely fantastic, and it's entirely doable with a little bit of redstone engineering. Well, that worked fluidly straight away. And look how easy that is. There's not even any complicated redstone going on here, and it is fantastic to watch. Yeah, I absolutely love this thing. I'm so glad that we added that in. That is so space age. Okay, so this space right here, I mean, I don't really know what I'm going to do with it. I'm going to try my best to decorate it nicely. There's not going to be too much redstone in this space. It's purely just going to be for living. Books, you know, coffee tables, rugs, you know the drill. No, I'll be totally honest. I have definitely seen homelier looking sleeping arrangements, but you know, you got a little sofa, you got a TV, you got a pair of cactus. You know, it seems pretty nice. I'm a big fan of this place that we're creating here. This is a cool little base. I'd be happy if I had this in my survival world. I really would be. Now, one thing that I can't help but notice is that, okay, so we've got a lot of bones. We've got access to tons of bones because, of course, we've got ourselves the skeleton farm, so that's brilliant. And we have got absolutely no source of food. So it only makes sense that we create some form of bread maker or some form of automatic bone meal based farm. And I think I've come up with a design that is going to be fairly smart. If this is even remotely close to working, I'll be both very surprised and also very impressed. Now, in theory, what should happen is these bone meal dispensers should kick in and these blocks should go back and forth. Not good. that has not worked. But nobody panic, because I think I've actually come up with a smarter way to do this, which should reduce the amount of things that are going on, and hopefully should work perfectly. Okay, this area has ended up looking a little bit strange. Maybe we should leave that open so that you can see things going back and forth. But now, I mean, that should be working. Ah, okay, no, we didn't put the redstone in place. Here we go. Now it's working. And I can see that should actually function. So do you see it going bright and dark? That's what we need. If I grab myself some carrots and throw them in here. Oh, yes. That is the ticket. So this is working absolutely flawlessly. If I pop through into game mode survival. So as you can see, I have got nearly 2 stacks of carrots. I just have to hold down the right click button. And that is absolutely flying up through the roof. They seem to be stacking up in odd places in my inventory, but there we go. Now we can see how fast this thing is. And this is great. This is all you need in a bunker. And you know what? I actually think this is one of the coolest looking bread makers in the game. I love the look of that glowstone going back and forth. This thing's fantastic. Another thing that I really want on the Hermitcraft server. Anyway, I think to round things up in the bunker, I realised that we did not have any form of crafting bench in here, so I built in this little thing, and that fills in the last gap in this space. And I gotta say, I think we've done a great job filling it. This is definitely the coolest bunker I've made. I mean, it is stacked to the brim with all sorts of awesome things, all sorts of different farms. We've got super smelters, we've got food supplies, we've got shulker box storage systems, we've got a little area in here with an awesome piston door. I mean, there's all sorts going on. I'm really happy with this, so I really do hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, please hit that like button, and if you really loved it, then make sure to subscribe. But thanks for watching, guys. This has been Mumbo, and I'm out. I'll see you later. One.